Hello, Phoenix here. This is my wife's 2014 Dodge Charger RT, the 5.7. This is a review of the Whipple supercharger kit that we got. We got the 2.9 liter Whipple supercharger kit. It's supposed to be rated anywhere between 8 to 10 psi boost. It's supposed to have 495 to the rear wheels. Overall, a kit, it's a pretty nice kit. Come in 2 big boxes, delivered to the house. It kind of took long. The Whipple superchargers were on a 5 to 6 weeks lead time on the build of the superchargers. They make them to order, so we did have to wait a little while, but we finally got it. Put it all on. This kit here, it lets you that option to use the stock air box. It comes with a drop-in K&N filter for the air box. Some other features of the kit is it's got the fuel rails built in. It comes with 65-pound fuel injectors. Come with an MSD fuel pump booster for the fuel pump. Front mount intercooler, mounts down on front of the bumper. Here's your intercooler tank for the intercooler tank. The intercooler tank mounts down under the driver's side headlight. Pretty much the kit is really not that bad once you get the front end off. There's a couple of videos on YouTube of some guys taking the front ends off of the chargers. They come off pretty easy. At first I was kind of afraid, but once I watched those videos, it's kind of pretty easy how it comes off. Also, kit, and it come with their the Whipple tune, come with their SCT tuner, so you put that up on there. Well, it's kind of conservative, and the car's running, but you can kind of tell that it is kind of rough at idle, so it's not really the greatest tune ever. But eventually we're gonna get a dyno tune on it, get a custom tune, and just get it optimized to where it's driving better. But it does drive well on the street. It's probably leaving some power on the table. This kit here, Whipple advises you to the type of coolant that you use is G5 formula coolant here, and also to use the coolant additive water wetter to put in the tank. And you put 1 bottle of that in the intercooler and 2 bottles in the coolant. The instructions of the kit, there's about 262 steps in the instructions, and probably the most involved part of it was this right here, the actual drilling of the crank, the drilling and pinning of the crank. But in the kit they send you a template with the kit. It really does help to have one of these 90-degree drills to be able to drill down in there, because you're going to have to move the fans and the radiator out of the way to be able to drill. You drill the 2 holes and then pin the crank to keep it from moving. That was pretty much probably the worst, or not really worst, but kind of iffy while drilling that. There's a little bit of wiring involved at the very end to wire up the MSD booster pump. You're going to wire that up to the fuel injector relay, and the pump for the intercooler, you'll wire that up to the ignition source, so when you turn the ignition on, the intercooler pump will cycle. Modification wise, the intercooler bolted on pretty easy. There's a little bit of plastic behind the bumper that needs a little bit of trimming to get the intercooler to fit up on there, but really not too much modifications really done to the car to make this kit fit. You could easily change it back to stock. On this here, you do have to take the hood pad off. The hood pad was making contact with the pulley, and in the instructions are for all the cars. They're for the 300s, the Challengers and Chargers, and the instructions, it did say on the 300s that you would possibly have to notch the hood because it may make contact with the supercharger. But on the Challengers and the Chargers, it said, I think all you have to do is just take that hood pad off of there. Alright, here's some of the parts that come off the car. There's the hood, the hood pad there, the stock intake manifold, the serpentine belt, the hood, or not the hood, the cover for the engine cover. All that'll come off in one piece. It has the fuel rails and fuel injectors on it still. This little foam piece that was underneath the valley, the intake right there, that supercharger sits real low, so you can't use that. It's the stock intake hose tube. Got the coolant lines. These are under the intake. It had different coolant lines to go to the supercharger. And new thermostat come with it. 180 degree thermostat come with it. I'm not quite sure on what the stock one is, but it was running like around 205-ish, I think 210 maybe. So the car does run quite a bit cooler now. The temp holds at 185. And the kit also it come with spark plugs, 2 heat ranges, cooler spark plugs. The new plugs for the kit that come with those, and install those. And I'm trying to think, other than that's about it. It's a pretty nice little setup. So if y'all have any questions, feel free in the comment section to put any questions about the car, the install, or the particular supercharger. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later.